This is After 9 on 93.1 CFIS FM.
Good morning. Trudy Klassen here this morning, and I have a guest who has declared his candidacy for Prince George City Council. He's a downtown business owner, and his name is John Zakowski. Welcome, John.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Why am I welcoming you? It's your show.
Well, hey, we're all really pros at this, as our listeners know. Hey, we're a nonprofit. We're doing well.
There you go.
There's a lot of interesting content on CFIS. So, and this morning it's us.
That's right.
All right. Okay. I could talk a long time about that, but I don't want to take your time. So tell me, John, or tell our listeners, what made you jump from being a nice, quiet business owner to saying, well, I'm going to throw my hat into the ring?
Well, anybody that's been downtown knows, over the last, I would say 6 or 8 years, there's been a steady decline in downtown. So that was what pushed me along, is seeing the increase in issues in our downtown core, issues with the homelessness, issues with the crime being a big one. A lot of the small businesses, they have no avenue. So we ended up having to get together and set up the Prince George Business Advocacy Group, which runs on Facebook. And that's 65 independent businesses in downtown. And we rallied together to initiate the mayor forming the Safe, Clean, Inclusive Downtown Committee task force.
Right. When was that?
Oh, that's going back now 2 years now. Mm-hmm. So, and that committee's task was to look at the downtown issues, homelessness, crime. We were looking for short-term solutions, windows being broken, shoplifting. We needed something to be done, and we were trying to push the city to get something done. And so that committee was supposed to be to get it happening.
Okay. So, just for someone who doesn't go downtown a lot, aren't these issues just part and parcel of having a business downtown? Like, what's the problem?
No. You can go to many communities in British Columbia and go to any of the smaller towns and see that they don't have the obvious issues that we have here. Prince George being a hub. So it's the largest community. Once you get past north of Prince George, then it's a smaller community. So yep. There's almost like there's more control there. The issues we're having are transient issues. These are people coming into Prince George and staying. Whether it's a criminal element or the homeless or they're seeking treatment or whatever the situation may be, they're here and they're congregating here, and we're having the issues here. And that's part of the problem.
Okay, so this group, the Downtown
Business Advocacy Group.
Yes. So you accomplished setting up this committee that was supposed to look at these issues.
Right.
That was with City Hall, correct? Mm-hmm. And so where did that go, and why? Like, what made you from that? You'd think, okay, that's some success there. What made you think, well, gee, I need to actually have a seat at the table?
Well, the committee met previous to COVID. We'd had 3-4 meetings. Then COVID hit, and then the committee meeting stopped. And it took a while before we were able to actually meet on Zoom. But the problem was, it was initiation. When you've got folks from outreach operations and business owners and the general public and everybody around the table, it takes time to get the conversation going.
Yes.
And at every step of the way, we were, I don't want to use the phrase roadblock, but we were roadblocked. We couldn't initiate a conversation. The meetings were always being steered one way or another, or we were getting a presentation from administration, so in all effect, we weren't getting anywhere.
Okay, like this is often what people complain about when
Yes.
you have, you set up a committee in order to get nothing done.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because everybody shows up and everybody smiles and shakes hand and tells everybody what a great job they're doing, and everybody goes home and...
Oh, you've been to a council meeting. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. And the businesses, along with the downtown business group, we were just getting frustrated. We weren't getting anywhere. So at that point, that's when I finally said, well, enough's enough. If I can't turn around and get this happening in a positive manner to address the issues, the real issues that the business owners are having and that the general public have when they come downtown, then I've got to run for council.
Okay, so I just want to go dig a little bit further. So why is the downtown important to Prince George? I mean, if it's decaying, can't we just set up somewhere else? Set up what? But I mean, what's the deal with downtown? How does a vibrant downtown contribute to the viability and life and community of a city? Well, I mean, the downtown is the heart. Mm-hmm. And everything else works off of it. I mean, the history of downtown is the history of downtown. I mean, you can relocate the business portion of downtown, but you'll always have this part as the core, the actual heritage of Prince George. So it's important. It's the walk around area. It's close to the museum and close to hotels and close to the pools, and so it's where everybody congregates, where everybody gets together. Our civic center is in the center of town, so it only stands to reason that if we're developing downtown, first we've got to clean up the downtown before we can develop it. Okay. We're encouraging people to move into downtown Prince George, into the core, but we still have the crime issues. I mean, we still get vehicles broken into and theft and loitering and, panhandling. It's a problem. So we've got to clean it up. And so you think that this is happening at a greater rate than most cities of our size? Well, yeah, because again, like I said, Prince George is the hub. So right. You want to go anywhere, you've got to turn around and go through Prince George one way or another. Okay. Unless, of course, you fly over it, then you can just wave from the plane. Yes, but then the whole point is to get anywhere to the rest of the province, you have to come through Prince George. Right. So economically, developmentally, Prince George has got a lot to offer, but first we have to deal with the issues. Okay. And how do you think, how about let's take a little bit of an early break. This is a good place to do that, and we'll be back with John Zakowski.
The inaugural Jazz Music Awards is accepting submissions for the Global Awards Show through Saturday, April 30th. A not-for-profit subsidiary of WCLK Jazz 91.9, the awards ceremony will be held on Saturday, October 22nd. Nominees and winners will be chosen by a specially selected craft committee with expertise in the field. Full details and updates on the Jazz Music Awards are available through jazzmusicawards.com. The submission deadline for the inaugural Jazz Music Awards is Saturday, April 30th.
Open, honest conversations about money are one of the keys to building a healthy relationship with your family across generations. Yet for many, these conversations can be difficult. In some families, money and many more topics that matter most to seniors are just not discussed. Let's Talk About Money, Seniors Edition, wants to help you change that with tips to help parents and adult children have meaningful money conversations. To find out more, visit their website, letstalkmoneyseniors.com.
Your Prince George Chamber of Commerce has their annual general meeting set for Tuesday, April 26th. The AGM is a chance for members to learn more about chamber accomplishments and future plans and to vote on important chamber matters. It's also an opportunity to hear from Board of Directors candidates and elect the new slate of directors. Nominations are now being accepted for the Board of Directors. For more information on the AGM or to nominate a director, call the Chamber office at 250-562-2454.
Forecast from Environment Canada. Sunny today, increasing cloudiness late this afternoon with wind from the south at 20. A high of 7 with a morning wind chill to -9. Mainly cloudy tonight. South winds becoming light this evening, a low of -2. For Friday, mainly cloudy, wind at 15 km. A high of 6 with a morning wind chill to -4.
It's after 9 on Prince George's Community Station, 93.1 CFIS FM.
All right, Trudy Klassen here with John Zukowski talking. John is running for City Council, and I got to tell you, John. I mean, we moved here in '94, and ever since then, there's been downtown revitalization. So, I mean, and every
you're not done yet.
No, apparently we're not done yet. So, I mean, if you could wave a magic wand and be on City Council and maybe have some like-minded councillors, and I've got to say, I think this is where you have some pull, and I really hope that we see some movement here. Like I said, we've had downtown revitalization has been a topic of concern for all these years, and we've had a lot of those same city councillors in sitting there all that time, right. Or at least half that time. So, what's your pitch? Why should people not vote for the known names of people who are good folks, but maybe not making decisions that are resulting in improvements downtown, especially? What's the pitch that you would tell them?
What's the pitch?
What have you got to offer?
What's the sales pitch for today? Well, no. What I have to offer is the fact that I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to ask questions. They're going to be hard, and I want answers. That's the problem. A lot of these folks, and yes, there are some very nice folks on City Council. Problem is they have gotten into a rut of just doing. Okay, this is the same old scene. We're doing a land permit thing, or we're doing this. And they're so used to administration just putting the paperwork in front of them and them rubber stamping it. They're not asking the questions. So
what's the problem with that? Aren't the administrators sort of the experts on these issues?
Not necessarily.
So how would you define that? What is the expertise, or what would you expect from administration compared to what the role is of city councillor?
Well, the city council is supposed to be the voice and representation of the people of the city of Prince George. Okay? They're supposed to be the final block.
Right.
They're supposed to turn around, look at what's being planned or proposed or asked for, and say, back it up. Give me more information. I mean, I have to turn around and sign off on several $1,000s or millions of dollars for projects. So I, as a sitting council person, would have to be responsible for my decision. And that's supposed to represent the people that voted me in.
Okay, so for an example, we've got those washrooms that you have already you've been vocal about them. Mm-hmm. What would you have said? And these are the washrooms that are being, they've been approved to be built on the Carrie Jane Gray Park area. They're supposed to cost about $750,000. What would you have said to administration when they came forward with that proposal?
No.
Okay.
Well, short answer. No.
In fairness, we had 3 councillors say no.
That's right.
Right? What would your arguments have been to sway the others? Or do you think we simply just need different councillors with different ideas?
I think that would have been my public response to the other councillors that voted for it would be, really? We're talking $760,000 for washrooms that are going to be used. Now, take a second. This is tough for people to wrap their heads around. We have washrooms that will be built. They're going to spend 12 months sitting there. They're only going to be used for 3 months. And the priority is to look after 2 weeks for the summer games that are coming up. That's the priority. Where does that make sense? We're spending $760,000 for 750 square foot building to house men's, women's, and storage washrooms in Carrie Jane Gray Park, which will end up being locked up for 9 months of the year.
So are there currently no washrooms there?
Apparently there are washrooms there. This was supposed to, here's the good one. This was brought to council as a refurbishment. Okay, a refurbishment and replacement are 2 totally different things. Had I been sitting on council, I would have kicked it right off the bat. It was proposed or brought to council as being a refurbishment. Demolition and replacement is not refurbishment. That's a complete replacement. It's not refurbishment. Refurbishment's a bucket of paint and a call to Roto-Rooter. Fix the plumbing and throw some paint on it. And that's what should happen. I can't believe 5 people turned around and decided to spend that money when they should have said, no, tell you what, let's do a really good job of refurbishing it, put some paint on it, get the plumbing working, dress it up, get to the games. That'll give us some lead time to get past this post-pandemic thing with everything being so expensive. And then we can put it out to tender again and see if we can get some decent quotes.
Right, because that was part of the problem. Is
it was
that
only one.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that because that's often the problem in organizations where you're building, and when the costs are so high to build, well, then you don't have any money to repair and manage what you've got. And it's like, wait a minute.
The kicker, Trudy, is that this wasn't a surprise. They were aware that they got the games in 2017. So you can't tell me they didn't have enough lead time to go, geez, the washrooms sure look awful. We should do something with that.
It would have likely been in the proposal that they made to get the games here, right?
Probably, yeah.
Think so, right?
You'd think, yeah. So that's it's just I'm still stumbled by this. It just I can't help but shake my head thinking about it. Okay. That's an awful lot of money.
It's a huge amount of money. Yeah.
Just for giggles, I went on the multiple listing website for Prince George, and I found 3 houses, and totaled up the value of those houses at asking $700,000 for 3 really decent houses. One was a 4-bedroom. There was a 3-bedroom.
These were entire houses that were
complete houses, finished, ready to go, for sale. I pick up all 3, and it would have cost $700,000 for the 3 houses at asking.
Well, we should have a sign on the door says this.
Oh yeah,
every visit costs the city, good citizens of Prince George, this much money.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's just so the problem. Getting back to your original question about the councillors and what to do with it. The problem is you have to ask yourself: are they asking the right questions? Are they standing up and representing the taxpayers? Clearly they're not. If they're rubber stamping stuff like this without stopping and asking really good questions, then, and it can't always fall to 1 or 2 councillors that always sound like they're the squeaky wheel.
Yes. Yeah.
We can't approve things because, he's always making noise. But bottom line is that's the way council's supposed to work. You're supposed to discuss these things openly, get a meeting of the minds, then decide by motion to move forward. Mm-hmm. And so things have to change.
All right. Okay. We're going to be back with John Zukowski's candidate
World
for City
Schizophrenia Day is Tuesday, May 24th. And once again, BCSS is reaching out to landmarks across BC to show support for people affected by schizophrenia and psychosis by lighting up in purple. If you or your organization would like to participate, email info@bcss.org. Light up in purple and show your support for everyone affected by schizophrenia and psychosis on World Schizophrenia Day, Tuesday, May 24th.
Free dental clinics for seniors are back. If you're a senior without dental coverage, Family Dental Care would like to help. Family Dental Care is giving back your smile by offering a no-charge cleaning, filling, or extraction on Sunday, April 10th. To apply, visit the Seniors Resource Center at 7th and Victoria. That's a free dental clinic for seniors through the Seniors Resource Center from Family Dental Care, Sunday, April 10th. Application deadline is Monday.
The Prince George Symphony Orchestra is teaming up with Anishinaabe artist and storyteller Darren James Corbier and composer Duncan Fox to create a unique local telling of the ancient story, The Hummingbird and the Fire. This all-ages presentation will take place at 2, Sunday, April 24th in UNBC's Canfor Theatre and will be recorded for digital streaming to schools, retirement homes, and Indigenous organizations. For more information and tickets to The Hummingbird and the Fire, visit pgso.com.
Your Prince George Spruce Kings take on the Cranbrook Bucks in Games 1 and 2 of the BCHL playoffs April 1st and 2nd at Rolling Mix Concrete Arena. Playoff packages and single game tickets are now on sale at sprucekingsshop.ca and at the Spruce Kings office. The April 1st game will include a $625 bonus on the 50-50 draw and a chance at $1,500 during the WR Ventures Chuck-a-Puck contest. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today.
Featuring the people who make things happen in Prince George. You're listening to After 9 on 93.1 CFIS FM.
Okay, Trudy Klassen here, back with John Zakowski, council, not council member. Almost a candidate for city council.
Let's try for it first, yeah.
Okay, all right, so let's talk a little bit about just a little bit more of a bird's eye view of the city. What kind of vision, I know recently there's a few things. Mm-hmm. The approval of the Western Acres development,
right.
Which seemed rather lame. Because, they were making a decision based on not having all the decision or all the information they needed.
Right.
And then we have Ministry of Social Services relocating their office downtown. And then we've got, there was a recent study saying that we need 10,000 housing units. So where does the city go with this, just as a broader direction?
As a broader direction, what has to happen is let's not count on council doing anything. This is their twilight hours. They want to glide through to the election, maybe get reelected, who knows. So I wouldn't count on anything significant happening with city council till the election. So what has to happen is a new council has to come in. They need to meet. They need to turn around and look at the issues, break them up and address them one by one. And it's council that has to do that. Not a committee set up that's going to be steered by administration. It's council. Council needs to come in with their list. Hypothetical. If I was elected, I would come in with my list that I've heard from the voters and from the public that they want to see addressed. And I would meet up with the other councillors. We'd sit down and go, okay, here's my wants from those who have elected me, the people I'm representing. These are the wants. I need to be able to address them. I need to be able to at least go back to them and say, this is what's going to happen moving forward. And that's what needs to happen with the new council. We've got to shake things up the way we're doing things now. It's not sustainable.
So what I'm hearing is just there needs to be a bit more vision on city council in terms of where they want to see the city go, so that administration and staff have a direction to aim for, so that they are not just shooting in the dark and wondering what the heck is going on.
Exactly.
Because I think I can really see that, because if you don't know what you're, it's sort of a cliche statement, but if you don't know what you're shooting for, you're bound to hit it, which is nothing. And I think there's a lot of people that would feel that way, just because of the lack of consistency, the lack of direction, I think.
Well, that also comes down to the one that is supposed to be directing that, and that would be the mayor. The mayor is supposed to give a sense of direction for the discussion. So if the mayor isn't turning around and saying, well, look, these are the topics and the issues that we need to look at, and then get information back from the other councillors to add to that list, then you've got no direction.
Okay. So, John, you're trying for city council, to be a councillor. Mm-hmm. How do you see, what do you see your role as, when elected? How would you engage with the public? Because it seems to me that the only time that we see councillors speaking directly to the public about what the things that they want to see is during election campaigns. And then it almost seems a little bit now like we've got city councillors are actually muzzled, like they are not allowed to speak about, publicly about issues.
Yeah,
a little bit of that going on, I think.
They tend to go a little radio silent. Once they get the chair, then it's, okay, business as usual. People go on and live their lives. Councillors go and do council-y things. And that
do you think that contributes to voter apathy? Because we have really low voter turnout.
Sure, but yeah, I would say that contributes to voter apathy. I also think that folks aren't getting engaged enough because the old method of communicating is still being held as dear at City Hall. Using social media, getting involved, radio stations like this, getting the word out to the specific demographics of what's happening and what affects everybody, right? It's important. I mean, folks with fixed incomes, they're worried about every time the tax bill comes out. I mean, this has been, the last 24 months have been tough on people, really tough on people. And then you turn around and you add silly spending to it. That makes people really uncomfortable. So public engagement is going to change. Counselors, you got to be able to reach a counselor. You got to be able to turn around, pick up the phone, call them, or email them, there's got to be means of communicating with these folks. They are, after all, your representative at City Hall, so you should be able to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, to be fair to them, they do have their emails and phone numbers listed, but then you also have to be able to, there has to be some expectation that that then your voice is also represented at City Hall. And I know that one thing that really, really bothers me is just the fact that our downtown has deteriorated despite having huge advocates on City Council for improved mental health services and everything. And here we are, we're just seeming to get worse instead of better. We have just a few minutes left. How can people get in touch with you and what are you doing to try to reach out to people? Well,
it's really easy. If you want to find out more about me, you can get on the internet and hit www.zukowski.city. That's ZUKOWSKI.city, CITY. There's a website there. It gives some background as to the planks and the platform I'm standing on. Hopefully it's built well. And you can also reach out to me through Facebook. It's Zukowski.city on Facebook. Yeah, and then from there, you can email me or direct message me, and if you got questions or concerns, shoot me a line, and I'll get back to you. If I don't have the answers, I'll find them, and I will get back to you. But that's the whole thing. Got to open the communication, so that's the way to start.
Mm-hmm. So are you open to presenting at groups and talking to groups?
Sure,
community,
why not?
Neighborhoods, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Of course.
All right. Okay. All right. So in our last minute, is there anything that you want to leave people of Prince George with?
In October, please, you've got to get out and vote. The only way we're going to change things, change the course we're on, is for folks to get out and vote. And hopefully we'll be able to have voting by mail-in. That will be significantly better, especially for the community, for those that have a problem getting in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is an issue. So, all right. Well, Steve, do you think can you push a button? I'm feeling like we're a little bit early today.
You're a little bit early.
I'm a little bit early.
You got any closing?
All right. Okay. Well, now we have like less than a minute. What do you think about this? We'll just briefly discuss this.
Sure.
Lawsuit filed by Rolling Mix and Rock and Roll.
Oh, that's well, sadly, it's a matter before the courts. So, I think it's a case of bad planning. I would have to really get into the details of it. It comes down to the Mining Act in BC and then the bylaws in Prince George and who has precedent.
This is another huge pile of money being spent.
It is.
All right. Okay. Well, that's our last word today. Thank you very much, John Zukowski, for coming in.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you.
After 9 is a daily presentation of CFIS FM. After 9 is produced by Alan Wishart, Echo Wiley, Trudy Klassen, and Rez Krebs. Executive producer is Reg Fair with technical assistance from Stephen Smith. Additional contributors include CBC News and the National Campus and Community Radio Association. Theme music is by The Ebbs. For a rebroadcast of today's program, check out the podcast link at cfisfm.ca. To provide feedback or suggestions for the show, please email cfisfm@yahoo.ca.
You're listening to CFIS FM Prince George, a not-for-profit community radio station broadcasting with 500 watts of power at 93.1 on the FM dial. CFIS FM is owned and operated